Did it work? Uh, as the president of Maharlika Toastmasters Club, I call this and
And on behalf of our president, I am the vice president for education for Meycauayan-Maharlika Club. I and President Alvin call this meeting to order.
call this meeting to order. And and for the invocation, Toastmaster Happy.
So let's bow down our heads in prayer. So we pray for tonight's meeting that it will go smoothly. Thank you for the resources that we have that we're able to hold this meeting in a hybrid setup. Thank you for the safety and health of everyone that we are able to participate in the meeting. So hopefully everything will be smooth and enlighten us that we will be able to listen carefully and respond accordingly. Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. The power and glory forever and ever. Amen.
Okay, can everyone please raise your right hand? Now, because this is a hybrid meeting, there's no need for everyone to recite the Toastmasters promise so that we will not have disjointed and coordinated voices online. So just listen to me while I recite the Toastmasters promise, but please raise your right hand. As a member of the Toastmasters International and my club, I promise to attend club meetings regularly, to prepare all of my projects to the best of my ability, basing them on the Toastmasters education program, to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments, to provide fellow members with helpful, constructive evaluations, to help the club maintain the positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow, to serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so, to treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy, to bring guests to club meetings so they can see the benefits Toastmasters membership offers, to adhere to the guidelines and rules for all Toastmasters education and recognition programs, to act within Toastmasters core values of integrity, respect, service, and excellence during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities.
Mark, would you like to do the honors about or should we skip the history of Toastmasters?
I think we are all members of Toastmasters, so I think we can skip.
Right. And a brief history about Maharlika Toastmasters Club. Maharlika Toastmasters is one of the thousands of clubs of Toastmasters International. It was founded by Ernesto D. Tiapco and was chartered in July 11, 1980. The Maharlika Toastmasters Club is one of the most active, diverse, and fun clubs in the city of Manila, dedicated to developing communication and leadership skills. We meet in a hybrid setup every second, third, fourth, and fifth of the week. First week of the month, we meet 100% in person. And how about for the Meycauayan Toastmasters Club?
Okay. For the Meycauayan Toastmasters Club, let me spotlight my video. Okay. The Meycauayan Toastmasters Club has become an institution with our charter members who are also our mentors. Distinguished Toastmasters Dana Palinga, Mike Rodriguez, past International Director Christine Tablique, and Mariner de Guzman. This club also produced 4 distinguished Toastmasters and counting, and a number of champion speakers and leaders. The Meycauayan Toastmasters Club was chartered on August 1, 1991. The regular online meeting of Meycauayan Toastmasters Club started in 2017. That was way back before the pandemic, when we webcast our meetings live on our official Facebook account while conducting our regular meetings in a restaurant in Meycauayan City. A few years before the pandemic, the Meycauayan Toastmasters Club was one of the first, if not the first, Toastmasters Club to try hybrid setup, when this club facilitated an online joint meeting with Davao Pag-asa Toastmasters Club in Mindanao. So that's the quick history of Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. Back to you, President Alvin.
Take two. I was muted. Thank you, DTM Mark. And let us start our joint meeting. And let me introduce our Toastmaster of the evening, Kenley Leong.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alvin, and welcome on-site and online. Online for our guests and partner for this evening, Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. And for here the venue, Maharlika Toastmasters Club. Now, the theme for the meeting would be Beat the Heat. As I think I'm sort of aware why the theme is Beat the Heat. If you live in Manila or somewhere in the Philippines at the moment, it's quite hot and the weather is a bit dry. So the theme may be apt for Beat the Heat. Also, having a joint meeting can be a challenge for some presidents and which feels the heat. So, for Toastmaster Alvin, we will beat the heat of this meeting. Now, here in the venue, one way to beat the heat is to have an air conditioner. And in our venue, we have an air conditioner. And I suppose those who are online have their own air conditioners or electric fans to keep yourself cool. So in a way, we're all here to beat our heat of the weather. Now, when I hear the word heat, actually it has several meanings in the English language. It can be a slang for weapons. It can be a slang for the police. But in our context, it's the temperature. That's why English is an interesting language. That's why we're here to learn a new word and challenge ourselves to use it. So let's welcome our language evaluator to share word of the day. Toastmaster Anya Border.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Sorry, can you hear me? Or is there an echo?
Okay. I can hear you clearly.
Apologies on that one. There was an echo on my end because I was using two phones. I've turned off my phone for a minute. Okay, so anyway, sorry. I'm having some technical difficulties. Okay. So again, sorry for my video right now. I will do that later, but a good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As your grammarian and language evaluator, my responsibility is to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage, and I also take note of improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, or sayings or thoughts. As a grammarian, I'm also my duty to introduce the word of the day. Since our team is Beat the Heat, I think our word of the day thermodynamics is also on point, which means physics that deals with the mechanical actions or relations of heat. I'm actually excited to hear how every one of us will consider thermodynamics in all of our sentences. But here's an example of how we can use it.
What is that?
Just So the second law of thermodynamics dictates that the order life creates only results in more disorder elsewhere. On another hand, the first law of thermodynamics says that matter and energy can never be destroyed or created. Again, our word for the evening is thermodynamics, and always excited to hear how everyone will use that in our meeting today. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Right, thank you, Toastmaster Anne, for the word of the day. So I challenge everyone, please today, especially those here in the venue, the word of the day is thermodynamics. Let's challenge ourselves today. Now, I know that everyone has their own ways of actually cooling down to keep the heat. One way that conventional is actually to eat spicy food. Spicy food, just like in the venue, we have food. Spicy food has a way to make us sweat. Sorry, we're having some technical. Okay, I think it's okay now. Okay. That was a hot situation. Now, as I was saying, one way to keep cool is to eat spicy food because it makes you sweat, makes you evaporate the heat from your body. And another way is actually to wear the proper clothes, wear light colored clothes, and lightweight fabrics. Jacket I'm wearing is actually light fabric. And it takes a lot of preparation to come up with these types of strategies. Now, for us, the next portion, the prepared speakers are also equally prepared. So let's move on to our prepared speech portion, starting off with our first speaker of the evening. Our first speaker will be delivering their level 2 speech project from their lab, leadership development. The name of the project is Creating Effective Visual Aids. And the purpose of this speech is to practice selecting and using a variety of visual aids during the speech. The time allotted for this speech is 5 to 7 minutes. The evaluator will be Toastmaster Vic. And the title of the speech is The Joy of Small Wins. So let's welcome our first speaker for this evening, Toastmaster Chris Severino.
Happy New Year! All right, let me write my New Year resolutions for 2025. Daily workouts to lose weight, read 50 books for this year, travel at least twice this year, complete 2 to 3 levels in my Toastmasters pathway, and so on and so forth. Sounds familiar, right? I know, I am not alone. Every January 1st, we all turn into superheroes ready to conquer the world with big resolutions and bold plans. But tick-tock, we're nearly halfway through the year. 2 weeks from now, and it's already June. So how's that resolution going? Are we on track? Are you making any progress? Or is it time to pause, reset, and refocus? And as we reflect, perhaps it's time to also recognize the small wins we've achieved, even the ones that weren't part of our original plans. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, allow me to guide you tonight in recognizing these small victories in your life and why they deserve to be celebrated just as much as the big ones. Have you ever wondered why we often make grand plans only to struggle with follow through? It's not just a lack of discipline. In fact, our brains are wired to love planning. The prefrontal cortex helps us set goals, and the striatum lights up when we imagine success. We get a dopamine rush just by thinking about the exciting things we want to do. But execution, that's the hard part. Motivation fluctuates, life throws curveballs, and our brains are biased toward short term rewards, just like watching one more episode or scrolling a bit longer, rather than long term progress. So, how do we bridge the gap between planning and doing? That's where the joy of small wins comes in. Small wins are those tiny victories. Checking off a to do list, finishing a workout, or even just showing up. They may seem insignificant, but they create momentum. They reinforce progress. And most importantly, they give us a steady stream of that same dopamine we crave without the crash of unmet expectations. According from the article in Summer Harvard written by Melissa Russell, celebrating small wins can boost your mood and improve confidence in your accomplishments, keeping you motivated and as you pursue a larger goal. It helps you form a good habits like healthful eating or consistent study habits and proves you can take on challenges. Before we proceed in celebrating our small wins, let's begin by recognizing and acknowledging it first. Just as we set ambitious goals for this year, it's equally important to recognize and celebrate the smaller victories along the way. But how can we do that? First, it begins with awareness and reflection. You don't have to wait for big milestones. Instead, look for everyday progress that propels you forward, no matter how minor it seems. Start by keeping a win or wins journal. Just write down 1 to 3 things that you accomplish each day. Second one, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what did I achieve today? What are the things I am grateful for? The third one, use visual use visual reminders. Track your progress with a checklist, a calendar, or an application in your mobile phone. The fourth one, acknowledge your effort, not just outcomes. Simply showing up counts as a win. And lastly, celebrate progress on habits. If you're stuck to your workout, then skip taking out. That's a win. When you start recognizing your small wins, it's just as important to celebrate them. As people often say on social media, deserve mo yan. And yes, you don't have to achieve something monumental in order to celebrate life. Here are a few ways to celebrate your small wins. First, checking it off to your to-do list. The small act feels rewarding. Second one, treat yourself. Enjoy a coffee break, savor a favorite snack, or even check out that item in your Lazada or Shopee basket. The third one, share it. Tell it to a friend, to a team member, to your colleagues, or post it on social media. The fourth one, write it down. Documenting your success make it real and trackable. And lastly, say it out loud. I did it! Those words can be powerful affirmation for your mindset. When we recognize and celebrate small wins, we give ourselves permission to feel proud, stay motivated, and build confidence, one step at a time. As of today, these are my current progress for my goals for 2025. Daily workouts to lose weight. If I combine the days that I work out, I just say a month or two over the past 5 months. Read 50 books. Currently, I completed 10 books. Traveled at least twice this year. Just one, in Boracay. Complete 2 to 3 levels in my Toastmasters pathway. I completed level 2 and hoping to finish my level 3 this month. You know what? While I was writing this, I had a realization that even though I've only achieved about 25 to 30% of my big goals for this year, if I were to list down all my small wins, it would be much longer. And those small wins matter, just like showing up for myself each day, sharing lunch or dinner with my family and loved ones, finding time for get-togethers with friends even with a packed schedule, finishing work projects, big or small. And yes, even getting to try that new coffee or cake I was excited about. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, these moments may seem ordinary, but they are wins, and they're worth recognizing and celebrating. So here's my challenge to you. Take a moment today to reflect on your small wins. No matter how simple they may seem, celebrate them. Be proud of them. Don't wait for the new year to start afresh. You can begin anytime. And why not start today? Over to you, Toastmaster Ken.
I think you need to represent one.
Right, thank you, Toastmaster Mary Chris. Wow, counting the small movements makes me feel a lot better with all the technical mishaps you encountered earlier. And it definitely could ease up the heat of the moment whenever we count all the small movements. So thank you for that, Toastmaster Mary Chris. And speaking of Mary Chris, so let's move on to continue beating the heat with our next speaker for the same. Our second speaker will be delivering the speech on site. And our next speaker will be delivering a speech from the Persuasive Influence, level 1. The title of the project is Writing a Speech with Purpose. And the purpose of the speech is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with defined purpose and present a well-organized speech on any topic. The time allotted for this speech is 5 to 7 minutes. And the evaluator for this speech will be distinguished Toastmaster Dan Napalina. And the speech title is An Expert Wizard. So let's welcome our next speaker, Toastmaster RJ Neil Andrew Williams.
Hello everyone, can you hear me? Online Toastmasters, please raise your hand if you can hear me. Can you hear me? You hear me okay? Okay, perfect. All right, I'll start. Start. Ready? Okay. Good evening. Ages ago, I was fascinated by engineering. So I did have played around engineering mechanics, advanced mathematics, and thermodynamics, which gave me a bit of perspective about life and physics. However, we need to do things that makes our lives easier and happy. So I changed career. So my name is Fred, and I am your love and relationship expert. Don't worry, I give advice for free, and my wisdom is inspired by the Gottman Institute. It's a well-renowned research-based organization focusing on love, relationship, and marriage. So you don't get anything that's fake, and of course, it's current with the times. Okay? In these 7 minutes, I want to share 3 number figures of how you can keep your relationships steady, strong, and long-lasting. Ready? Ready. First number figure, 5:1. Happy couple moments. 5 positive, 1 negative. Yes, this is your 1-5. So every time this happens, you need to execute 5 sweet moves. You listen, you kiss, you hug, you tell the other person they are right, or you share food. So do this 5:1 strategy, enforce it in your relationship, and you're a step inch closer to being part of the happy couple movement. 5:1. Second, number figure, 68% more relationship satisfaction when there is quality time. Again, quality time equals 68% more relationship satisfaction. What people confuse about this idea is they focus on the things that doesn't matter. Again, it's not about how much you're going to spend or how extravagant the activity is. What you need to do is do things together and then find joy in doing it at the same time. Picture this. Lazy Sunday morning. You have each other, you're sitting in the sofa. You're having your simple coffee and breakfast. Now, what's special about that, you share coffee in the same cup. And then you trash talk your coworkers. That's it. That's one impactful date, quality time. Finally, third, last strong number figure around long-lasting relationship, open communication. So open communication gives 80% success rate that your relationship will last a lifetime. I mean, literally, if you're talking to each other for the longest time, then of course you keep with you keep each other. No, kidding aside. People underestimate that when the other person is talking, they underestimate the small gestures. Sometimes it's not about you giving your opinion on things. You acknowledge that's more than what you're supposed to do. And that open communication, again, is a very big foundation on long-lasting relationships. Okay? Toastmasters, you've heard a lot of stories around people celebrating their bronze, silver, gold, platinum relationships. And you know what they have in common? There is a king and a person that is always right. No, it's not about power hierarchy, right? So it's about individuals that have accepted compromise and have built on each other. Okay, right. Before I end, fellow Toastmasters, I have a simple request. If someone asks you about what is the secret to a long-term or long-lasting relationship, please tell them this and also ask them to share this to other people. So tell them, solving the problem is not the solution. It's keeping the communication open. Again, solving the problem is not the solution. It's keeping the communication open. Hopefully one day, it's no longer a secret. Thank you for listening. Sarangin.
Well, thank you, Toastmaster RJ. Wow, those are very useful tips. We can definitely take advantage of those lessons. And I can safely say that perhaps RJ is an expert in thermodynamics. All right. We still have one prepared speaker left. And the last but not the least, our third speaker for this evening will be delivering a speech from the back, engaging humor. The project is called Managing a Difficult Audience. Now, the purpose of this speech is to practice the skills needed to address an audience, the challenges when the presenter is outside of the Toastmasters club. The time allotted for this speech is 5 to 7 minutes. And the evaluator is Toastmaster Abigail Wolf. The speech title is Who Am I Outside My Corporate Title? So let's welcome our next speaker, Toastmaster Sadie Cortez.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and friends. How do you define yourself? Is it through your personality, through your hobbies, or through your career? Me, I define myself. I define myself by my career. Corporate junkie, corporate slave, or gladiator in suit. Whatever you call it, I am a workaholic. A self-proclaimed workaholic. I earned those overtimes or OTYs just to earn the trust of my boss until pandemic came. And due to large income losses, our company had to make some adjustments. Thank God that I wasn't retrenched. Thank God that I wasn't retrenched. But I realized that even though that I wasn't replaced, I realized that I am still dispensable and replaceable, even though that I am the most workaholic person in the room.
How is that possible? Isn't it because that you didn't get retrenched that does that mean that you're still valuable? Isn't that weird?
I think it's not weird, but that's how other people define it. So, well, I think I met the KPIs. That's why. Anyway, because of that, I lived by the words of one of the most influential person that I look up to. If you know him, he is Mr. Jonathan Yabut, the Apprentice Asia champion. And he said that we should not be defined by our corporate title. And somehow it makes sense, right? If you would agree.
Hindi.
Because if I remove this title, Building Administration Officer, if I just remove that corporate title, who am I? Do you know me? Can you define who am I? Not right.
Romel, alam mo ba itong si Sedi? Nakita ko sa gym, ang daming chicks. Ang haba ng hair.
Okay, so
Bago yan.
let's get away from that sort of fake news and let's go with our speech. So because of that, with such deep
Did you know
reflection,
his favorite pastime?
Oh, what's that?
yes, in terms of pastime, I will be going to deliver that in my speech
Later.
to Pastor Armel. Yes, thank you so much for listening. And with that, here are the things that I define myself outside of my corporate title. First is that I am a hiking enthusiast. Since 2017,
Amazing.
I've been hiking mountains since in the lands of northern, south, central, and southern Luzon. And some of them were minor and major hikes. So one of my major accomplishments was I hiked the Kawag Hegza. So these are 6 mountains I climbed in just one day in Zambales. And even though that I felt the excruciating pain, that's one for the books. Second, I am defined by having an interest in playing the ukulele. So that is a 4-string instrument. So it is like you are playing a guitar, but I am playing the ukulele because I am a frustrated musician. So I started practicing during the pandemic for me to cope with the anxiety and the prolonged sadness. It was a bit frustrating, especially if you gained more callus rather than hitting the right chords. But after months of practice, I finally got into the rhythm of knowing simple chords. A minor, F, G, C. So those are some simple chords. And I used to play them, and I think some of my audience enjoy it. Some of them says, ow, ow, ow. And some of them says, meow, meow, meow. So those are my audiences. And last but not the least, I am defined as a Toastmaster. I started to become a Toastmaster year 2018 and everything changed for the better. Well, I think this speech project is a test of character for me because of those bashers. Joke.
Name the bashers.
Just kidding. This speech project is a test of character for me as a Toastmaster. Because at year 2018, when I delivered my first speech, I was very shy, nervous, and have the fear to be judged, even up to now. But not anymore. Because, well, I still experience that nervousness, that jitters, that fear to be judged. But I always show up, even though there are still people who are disturbing my speech now. Kidding.
I agree. So, Sandy is very, very proud when he deliver his speech and even managed the area contest last year.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you're right. I know. But that's the way I have to show up because that's who we are as a Toastmaster. And of course, for the past 7 years as Toastmaster, I was granted by so many opportunities, and that includes being an area director and being an area director who showed up in managing that area contest, which Toastmaster Alvin mentioned. Of course, I also gained new friends and gathered so many learning experiences. I can't be someone who I dreamed before, but because of Toastmasters, I think I will still box myself as someone who is boxed inside of my corporate title. So those are the three things that define me outside of my corporate title. And I realized that while our careers that we are striving for put us in the limelight, what will happen to you if you are not relevant anymore? How can you define yourself? But of course, the way you define yourself matters. So whether you will stick yourself to be defined your corporate title or go beyond your box, that's still okay. Or we can have both and have the best of both worlds. Fellow Toastmasters and friends, how about you? How do you define yourself outside of your corporate title? The answer is always back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandy, for sharing with us how you handle things while being in the hot seat. That was a very interesting speech project where you get attacked from left and right, and how you were able to stay cool and be able to not ward off all those attacks. Thank you, Toastmaster Sandy, by demonstrating to us the will of a Toastmaster to deliver the speech to the end.
I cannot hear you, Ken.
I cannot hear Ken Lee.
Yeah, on my end too.
All right. Okay, and the people online hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, another technical issue on site. It's been one after the other, isn't it? So as I was saying, one way to stay cool is actually to hydrate. Drink lots of water. However, there's a caveat. We must actually don't we must not drink caffeine and alcohol. Unfortunately, they're counterintuitive and do not properly hydrate. But lucky for us, we don't need alcohol for this next portion. And the next portion is the table topics portion. Do we have the table topics master?
Yes.
All right, so let's welcome our table topics master, Toastmaster Carmen.
Good evening, Toastmasters. Am I audible?
Yes.
Our internet is not stable.
So much for that. So, all right, we are to our very exciting part of the night, which is the table topics. Will Toastmaster Alvin help me to present my slides? Or I'll just... The word of the day, Toastmaster Elias, is thermodynamics. Alright, so good evening once again. For tonight's theme, it's Beat the Heat. I guess I don't have the slides for now, but to share with you guys, for the benefit of everyone, the purpose of this table topic portion is to deliver a spoken message without prior preparation, allowing the speakers to demonstrate their ability to think quickly, organize thought confidently, and communicate effectively under pressure. So to answer our table topics, I would like to share with you that you might only use some methods like the RM methods, wherein you can answer the question first, cite your reason, tell your reason, cite example, and end it with your message. Or you can use the SMG pattern, the story message game, or the people F, past, present, future. Or, you can just answer it by just expressing your thoughts or your opinion, or just be yourself, right? And for the time guide, you have 2 minutes to answer each topic. Flashes in the screens are the 3 colors, which represents the minute or the time allotted. Green for 1 minute, yellow for 1.5 minutes, and red for 2 minutes and beyond are overtime. So, before we start, I highly recommend everyone to use our word of the day, thermodynamics. Alright, would like to try the first topic. Anyone? I think Toastmaster Elias from Indonesia, right, is raising his hand.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Toastmaster Elias, this is for you. Your topic is, when the sun is shining, I can do anything. No mountain is too high. No trouble is too difficult to overcome. This is a short quote from Wilmer Rudolph. Once again, when the sun is shining, I can do anything. No mountain is too high. No trouble is too difficult to overcome. Take it away, Toastmaster Elias.
Okay. Am I audible and visible before I start? Give me a lesson. Clear? Okay, I'll start.
when the sun is shining, I can do anything. No mountain is too high. No trouble is too difficult to overcome. This is my mantra when I woke up every single morning. When I see the sun light, I feel like, oh God, thank you for the blessing. I would like to have all of those thermodynamics can make me better person today. And when I see the mountain, it is like a goal that I would like to achieve that day. Why I choose the mountain? Because I would like to go to the peak of the mountain and then I would like to scream to the people and make sure it is echoing. I'm on the top of the mountain. Dun, 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 dun. And I do believe that no trouble is too difficult to overcome. When I got some question, well, because I'm a teacher, I also make sure that I have the right answer to my students. And when they give me the trouble, give me the question, I'll try to look up at the time at the dictionary because I'm an English teacher. And now it is on ChatGPT because it helps us faster. And yes, there is no such thing as trouble because we are professional. So yes, good evenings, sunset, because it's already evening. But remember, smile. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Elliot. It was a very, very inviting, right? You want to go to the top of the mountain and shout out loud. So, for our second topic, any volunteers from our joint club? Would you like to try Toastmaster Anariza Aborde?
Actually, the Toastmaster, the table topics evaluator.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. All right. Any other Toastmaster who would like to volunteer?
I volunteer Toast BTM Vivian.
All right, Toastmaster Vivian, I really miss you and your bubbly energy. So for you, Toastmaster Vivian, the topic is if summer had one defining scent, it would be definitely the smell of, one more time, if summer had one defining scent, it would be definitely the smell of blank. Take it away, Toastmaster Vivian.
Evening, fellow Toastmasters. I find the scent of summer a mix of flowers that blooms. It's for me, I believe in this quote. We need to stop and smell the flowers, and that's what we do. Summer or in any season. But then for summer, usually all the flowers are blooming because of the weather, and so applying that with my life every morning when I go to work. I try to scan my horizon or my environment and find a flower. And then if it's my favorite flower in along our street, I stop under it and smell it. It really gives me the joy and the extra energy to pursue my working day. And then at night, I have a bonus of, say, the hamoning tree. Also in our street, my uh, you cannot imagine the fragrance that it brings to you. It's like the fragrance can take away the all the tiredness of your job that you experience during your work, and it's really a bonus for me. And so, fellow Toastmasters, again, I am reminding you, in every day of your life, stop and smell the flowers without it.
All right. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vivian. Of course, the smells like a fresh flowers, and it's very, very relaxing, right? Especially if that flower came from your boyfriend. So, to our third, to our third topic, I would like to call on. How about Toastmaster Mark? Would you like to try it?
Do I have any choice?
All right. So, Toastmaster Mark, for you, this is a bit, I want you to think outside the box. All right. For your topic, this is a short quote from Jim Rohn. It says here that either you run the day or the day runs you. One more time. Either you run the day or the day runs you. Take it away, Toastmasters.
I am a person who wants to be in control. Therefore, if I was given a chance or given an option to run a day or the day runs me, I would rather choose to run the day. Why? I have my own family. I have my career. I have my extracurricular activities like Toastmasters. And because of those things and those activities that I have had, I need to be in control. And in any day, whatever the time it is, whatever the season it is, if I can take control of everything within my reach, then for me, it is fulfilling. However, we cannot control everything, right? That's why if we cannot control those things that we really want to get an access on, just relax and beat the heat. In physics, we have this thermodynamics. In thermodynamics, we need heat because heat is a factor. And that heat, we can use that heat in order for us to keep the fire in ourselves. And we can use that heat in order for us to mold ourselves. Remember, the same heat that melts the wax hardens the clay. So if ever we have this heat in ourselves and run the day, so be it. And if we can control the things that we want to control, then so be it. Either way, control it or you can't control it. As long as you live life to the fullest, so be it. Back to you, Toastmaster Carmina.
Alright. What a very, very nice answer, Toastmaster Mark. Of course, just relax and just live your life to the fullest. I can somehow relate on your answer, Toastmaster. So for our for our fourth topic, do we have guests or newcomers? Anyone who is brave enough to try to answer?
I here, DTM Mimosa.
Yeah. Oh, goodness, DDM Mimosa is here. Hi, DDM Mimosa.
Also to pay the member. Thank you.
DTM Mimosa, are you there?
Maybe she's a little bit busy, I guess.
Can we have a volunteer from Meycauayan?
All right.
From
Toastmaster Lit from Meycauayan.
Okay. Thank you so much for volunteering him, Sir Toastmaster Mark.
And that's Toastmaster.
Alright. To our very beautiful lady, the topic is, all in all, it was a never to be forgotten summer because blank. One more time. All in all, it was a never to be forgotten summer because blank. Take it away, Toastmaster.
Good evening, everyone. Indeed, it's summer and we are just so happy about it. And all in all, I could just tell you about one unforgettable summer. And this happened because we were complete as a family, and that makes it unforgettable. Well, you see, I am a mother of 4 children, and I have 3 grandchildren. And somehow it's so hard for us to be together. But well, not this summer, not yet this summer, but it was last summer when we were all together in Baguio and we really had fun. You know, time with the family is so precious, and we really have to make it a point that we are complete. Well, not maybe most of the time, but even once in a while, but we have to be complete. And when we are complete, we make sure that we make the best out of it, right? Well, me being a Lola, I make sure that I have time with all my grandchildren. I spend time with each and every one of them, telling them stories and teaching them how to live their lives, how to make good use of their time. And you know, even as of now, they are still very young, but I'm already encouraging them to become Toastmasters later on in their lives. So that is one unforgettable summer when I get to tell them about Toastmasters one summer day. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you so much for that very thoughtful answer, Toastmasters. So, for our topic 5, we still have time. I prepared 6 topics. Is it okay, Toastmasters?
No more time. That is the last table topic.
All right. All right. So, for our last topic, this one is different. Anyone who would like to take the challenge?
Sorry, no more time. No more time.
Sorry. All right. So since we do not have enough time, Toastmasters, no. So I would like to congratulate, of course, everyone who took up the courage to answer our table topics. So Toastmasters, we somehow experience different hit in our life. How do we deal with these hits, right? How do we handle ourselves? How do we control our emotions? How do we use the terrible dynamics of our life? The heating and the cooling systems of our mind, of our hearts, and how do we usually focus on what we can only control? Just like summer, our life has different seasons, Toastmasters. Sometimes we just need to focus on positivity, good things, and of course, be grateful for everything that we usually experience because everything happens for a reason, and somehow we are just being molded to be the best version of ourselves, Toastmasters. Take it away, Toastmaster of the evening. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Carmina, and thank you to all the table topic speakers who shared with us all their stories and insights for this evening. those are very hot stories that cool down the heat of the moment. Now, we're moving on to the most awaited portion of the meeting. It's been that we've been defeating the heat as we went along, defeating one challenge after the other. So how well did we do? So I'd like to welcome our general evaluator to lead us in the next portion. Our general evaluator is someone who started Toastmasters way back in 2015 and even went on to become area director of the year in 2021 to 2022. And our general evaluator is on the way to become distinguished Toastmaster. So let's welcome our general evaluator, Toastmaster Abel Gutierrez.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Candy, for your generous introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Finally, we are in the last leg of our program, the evaluation portion. Why do we have to evaluate in Toastmasters? It is because we want to know how we progress as members. And that is also true in our everyday life. We often hear that experience is the best teacher. In reality, evaluated experience is the best teacher. Today's theme, Beat the Heat, challenges us to rise above our comfort zones as we tackled challenging table topics and delivered speeches with confidence and poise. And in the evaluation portion, let us see how our members navigated the heat of public speaking. As your general evaluator, my role is to evaluate everything that takes place during the meeting. I am responsible for my evaluation team composed of the prepared speaker evaluators, the table topics evaluator, and my tag team, the timer, accounter, and the grammarian. To my team of evaluators, I encourage you to give positive and constructive evaluation that will encourage our members to deliver more speech, highlight the areas of improvement in a constructive and supportive manner. Now, let us begin with the prepared speakers evaluator. To evaluate our first speaker, Mary Chris, I would like to call her evaluator, Toastmaster Alvin.
Toastmaster Mary Chris. It's already May and we're about half of the year. And you remind us about our New Year's resolution. And we can clearly see how you made your New Year's resolution this year by showing us a visual aid about the 4 goals that you want to achieve this year. I like how clean and neat the PowerPoint presentation that you presented to us. That is easy to read and made the audience, that got the audience attention. When you were delivering your speech, I focus more on the visual aids and how you use it. Because visual aids are something that are designed to supplement your speech. When you were delivering your speech, Toastmaster Maripis, you remind me about my professor in thermodynamics. He was reading for the whole 1.5 hour. I challenge you, Toastmaster Marquis, that you use your visual aids as something for the audience to see. And let us try not to read our visual aids. And you are given up to 1 to 3 visual aids in your project. I noticed you only use one, the PowerPoint presentation. But in your presentation, there are a lot of opportunities where you can inject other visual aids. For example, when you mention about small wins that we need to celebrate about it, you can use a piece of chocolate or a coffee or anything food available and show it to the audience. Or if you also mentioned that you are reading books, maybe you could show a book or a mountain of book that you have finished reading. Or you also mentioned that you were able to go to Boracay. Show us a picture so that you can use the other visual aids to get the audience attention. Lastly, I noticed that your pacing was a bit fast. Try to relax and speak slowly so that the audience could clearly hear what you want to say and deliver. Overall, Toastmaster Marquis, you're able to use the visual aid to supplement your speech and make the audience more attentive and more engaged when you deliver your speech. With that, I return back the control of the proceedings to our general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Alvin. A round of applause, please, from our audience to Toastmaster Alvin and Toastmaster Marie Chris. I totally agree with your evaluation, Toastmaster Alvin. You cited all the commendations as well as your recommendation. Now, how can I help you next time you evaluate? Toastmaster Alvin, do not forget to smile. Yes, the way you deliver, it shows how you are confident in your commendations and recommendations, because when we smile, it shows poise also and confidence. And second recommendation is I want you to summarize your evaluation in the end. For example, Toastmaster Chris, these are, to summarize up, Toastmaster Chris, here are my 3 commendations as well as my 3 recommendations. In that sense, the speaker can remember through your summary all your points of view with her. But in all, Toastmaster Alvin, you are a great evaluator because you observe all the presentation and the speech of Marie Chris. Thank you so much for that valuable evaluation to our speaker. Now, this time, I would like to call the second speaker, the evaluator for the second speaker. To evaluate Toastmaster RJ, this time I would like to call distinguished Toastmaster Dan.
Good evening to everyone. Thank you for allowing me to evaluate the speech of RJ. RJ, congratulations. You made the mark and you have opened a very good avenue for developing your speech. And although I don't have a video right now, I guarantee you, all of you will be listening to me. So that is a plus already. And I would like to develop that as an example on the speech of Toastmaster RJ. Toastmaster RJ, your speech is about communication and leadership. And it is a very important facet in our life. Because if we cannot communicate, then therefore, there is a breakdown and there will be negative events that could happen because of lack of communication. Secondly, even if you communicate and the other person is not listening, then there is again a failure on that communication. So the art of listening, just like what we do in Toastmasters, basically is an important facet in our daily lives. You have presented to us facts about communication and relationship. Communication with your girlfriend, perhaps, communication with your family, communication with your friends. That means that we have to handle that communication and use it the same way that we use communication skills in Toastmaster. Understand, listen, and take note. I would like to say that the framework of your speech needs some improvement. One improvement that perhaps you can do is give examples of how communications fail in our daily lives. For example, the art of listening. If you are married and your wife tells you to go to the grocery and you did not listen to the instruction, then when you come back, your wife might get mad at you because you forgot to buy the most important ingredient in her cooking. So you can develop that and make that as an example. Secondly, you may be able to have an example of how you can destroy your relationship with a friend by not listening, by not understanding what your friend was telling you. Or you missed listening and you missed understanding, and therefore your friend lost his most important facets in her work. That means that you were not able to help him deliver the goods. Now, all in all, you gave us the fundamentals of how relationships are built. That is good. But by telling stories related to developing that relationship would have been better understood because examples are easily understood. And if you have the implications of why that communication could fail, then therefore the understanding would be better and actionable. I would like to recommend that in your conclusion, if you have those examples, then you could have reiterated in your conclusion, one, the act of listening is very important. You don't forget. You don't forget your wife. The act of dialogue is very important because in a group dynamics, the dialogue is very important. And thirdly, that speaking clearly and using simple words would be a very good way to foster understanding. The logical sequence that you have made is good, but the fundamentals is good, but the examples are missing. And these are the elements that could make your communication and your communication skill relevant and effective. So all in all, I would like to congratulate you for expressing and telling us the fundamentals, but please next time give us examples in life so that we will understand more the implication of miscommunication. Congratulations, RJ. Back to our general evaluator.
Thank you so much to our evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Dan, as well as to our prepared speaker, RJ. A round of applause, please, to both of them. DPM Dan, I acknowledge your profound evaluation with RJ. Now, how can I help you in your next evaluation? May I suggest that you make use of your time diligently, because I've observed that you, as you gave your commendations and recommendations to RJ, my suggestion is to summarize your speech or organize it in such a way that you can only pinpoint all the highlights, as well as you can recommend immediately your commendation to him. Because we have to know that we have to use our time. But in all, DTM Dan, we learned so much from you. I totally agree that RJ should give us a specific example on each cited given to him, like 5-in-1, 68% in open communication. Toastmaster RJ, to add on to the evaluation of DTM Dan, yes, next time it is a greater heights if you can give such example to your speech. But in all, I love your poise, I love your confidence, and your speech was hardly felt because you memorized your speech. Congratulations to both of you. Now, this time to move on with our third speaker for Toastmaster SEBI. I would like to call his evaluator, Toastmaster Abigail.
The project of SEBI was to engage in humor as well as to manage a difficult audience, which is a challenge because to deliver a speech is already difficult, and adding humor to that is another level of difficulty. I will mention two good things that SEBI has done well and three techniques that he can use to improve his speech and elevate the level of engaging humor and managing a difficult audience. The first one is how SEBI was able to discuss his speech from the office setup to his character as a Toastmaster. It was narrated in order and easy to follow. Number two is that despite the various distractions, Sebi would pause and able to look in the camera and with a smile be cool about it. And it is something you could see not only in regular speeches, but it's something that elevates a speaker from getting caught in the situation to appreciating the situation. So that's something you did well. Now, three things I could share to you that you could improve the way you deliver your speech. Now, the audience will may be diverse and you would not be familiar who they are. And you are speaking about the corporate jobs. So I noticed you mentioned about KPI. So these things we are unfamiliar what these are. So to simplify, you could share a bit more about your workplace. So what you do as a building administration officer, for example, you are filing paperwork or doing calls, and you could add the figure of speech to exaggerate and still meet the humor that you are trying to reach. For example, you can check the toilet faster than your boss could answer the call. And someone would say, how is that possible? And then the second technique that I will tell you, you can picture that scenario inside the workplace. For example, you would say, yes, someone in the office has told me, how is that possible? But that In the office, anything is possible when you have a seatmate to help you in the office. So the third one is something when you try to use a quotation. For example, you chose Jonathan Yabut. So that just turns out I am familiar with the person. He is a management professional. However, you want to balance how to engage with humor and connecting your corporate job to your hobby as a ukulele. So you could tweak a bit of exaggeration again in your quote. You can say, when your boss throws you a difficult situation, you can pull out your ukulele and entertain them with your skills in Toastmasters. Overall, thank you so much for sharing, and I congratulate you also for passing this because it's difficult to execute a humorous speech and at the same time manage a difficult audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Abigail and Toastmaster Seti. I totally agree with you, Toastmaster Abigail, for all your observations. Now, how can I help you with your evaluation next time? You may use this suggestion, Toastmaster Abigail, in giving your commendations and recommendations. You may point out that, Sedi, I have 3 commendations for you. Number 1, number 2, number 3. And here are also my recommendation, 1, 2, 3. In that note, Sedi may focus, or he can follow easily those commendations or recommendations that you pointed out earlier. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Organize your evaluation in that sense so that next time our speakers can easily remember what you're talking to. And Toastmaster Abigail, I love your confidence in the way you evaluated him. You totally helped him improve his speech by citing all those commendations that you observed a while ago. And also practice the pause, because I know that you've got lots of ideas in the way you evaluate. Pause for a while so that we can grab and listen well to your speech as the one of the evaluators. But in all, thank you so much for your evaluation tonight. I know that with your help, Sedi can improve more on his speech. Congratulations to both of you. Now, this time, I would like to call our tag team. First off, I would like to start with the grammarian, Toastmaster. No, not yet. For the table topics evaluation, to evaluate our table topic session, this time I would like to call Toastmaster Anna.
Okay. First of all, I want to congratulate everyone who has joined the table topic master, and of course the topic master for a wonderful topic that you've shared with us. Fortunately, you will not be able to see my very wide smile tonight because I'm having some difficulty with my technology, but overall, my voice is already enough. Let's start with the topic master. For our topic master, TM Carmina, I really recommend you with starting the table topic with the table topic rules. And of course, reminding everyone to use the thermodynamics. I have been part of many table topics discussion before, but I do remember that sometimes table topic master often forgot to remind people about the rules for table topics, and I think that is very important. How can I help you? There are 2 things that I have noticed. Number 1 is, of course, as we are in a hybrid setting, I think it is quite important for us to be more camera conscious and to utilize how we use and how we are perceived through the camera lenses. With this, it offers a more audience can better perceive or become more connected as you speak your topics. Number 2, Please, um, sorry. Number two is about stresses. Um, you might want to consider playing around with how or when we use stresses in our sentences to provide us a more modulated or a more emphasis on what particular parts of our sentence do we want to emphasize or do we want to stress out. Because proper stresses is a good opportunity for us to provide people with um to influence people on what part of our sentences or what part of our paragraphs are important. But overall, topic master Carmina, it was a very well coordinated table topics and a well thought out table topics itself. Now for our courageous table topic volunteers. Some were voluntold, but that's all right. We accept that. Number one is our table topic volunteer Elias. Congratulations. And I do commend your bravery in being the first one to volunteer during the table topics. I really appreciate how you started the table topics. It was actually quite catchy, and you um captured my attention on the first go. That's that's very good. However, I did notice that by the end of your speech, the energy has declined a little bit, which I think is something that we could definitely improve on because of course we started strong, we also want to finish strong, right? But overall, great delivery. For your table topic volunteer Vivian, number one is I like the way you were able to connect with the audience with picturing that particular topic on flowers and how it's connected with our work. It is it is a good opportunity for connecting with audience is quite important and it provided me a scenario while listening to you. Other improvements though is again as you are in a physical setup, it is also good to properly utilize the camera as well as the full breadth of the stage and hand gestures. Because by doing those, we also bet it provides us a better way to capture our audience attention. But overall, again, um, good delivery and a good way to connect with the audience. For our next table topic volunteer, TM Mark. Thank you, TM Mark, for your wonderful um ending to the table topic. Master, I really love your call to action at the end. However, I did notice one or two items. Number one is you may want to better play on how you utilize your voice, particularly using some elevation or some lowered voices just to provide more diversity in how we speak. And also, I know doing table topic is quite nerve wracking, right? Especially if it's the first topic that we've done, or well, not. I know this is not your first topic, but again, it is still nerve wracking. But it is important for us to at least avoid repeating the same sentences or the same words a couple of times, because by doing so, it makes it a bit more difficult for us to understand the whole gist of the topic or what we are saying. But overall, still a great delivery and more. And lastly, for our last table topic for TM Mimosa. Congratulations, TM Mimosa, because I really appreciate your TM Lead. This was TM Lead, right?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. TM Lead. Hi, Tito Lead. As always, Tito Lead, I always appreciate how well modulated you are and how you went straight to the story to answer the table topics. Of course, I really appreciate it because it provided us a breadth of the story within the time limit. One fleeting item though is just a general observation. Again, be conscious of the camera because of course we want, I think that's quite ironic for me because my camera is off right now, but unfortunately I am having some tech difficulties. But again, if your camera is on, always be conscious about it and smile to the camera and look at the camera eye to be more connected with the audience. But again, overall great delivery. So so overall, for all of our topic master and all of our table topic volunteers, thank you so much for all the bravery and the courageous that you've shown us tonight. And I do hope that all of these have encouraged you to become more participative and land and given you more courage and more bravery in your next impromptu speeches. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluate.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anna, as well as to our courageous table topic speakers. Anna, we miss your beautiful face. Maybe next time you may open your camera. But then, because of the network connection that you are in, we totally understand why your camera is closed. The evaluation for the table topics is somehow challenging because you evaluated each of them, and that is also a good point. However, I would like to suggest you next time to find the common commendations or suggestions to all of the speakers. And after finding all of their common commendations and recommendations, then you can somehow point out on what is the highlight of each one of the speakers to your on the recommendations. In that sense, you can save your time in evaluating all of them. But in all, I like your well-organized thoughts, your opinions about for the evaluation of our speakers. And to add on for your evaluation to the table topics master, our table topics master is Carmina, Toastmaster Carmina. Maybe next time, you may also want to inform the audience what is the importance of table topics in everyday life, in how do we apply this in the real life situation, so that some of our members can somehow volunteer because it practices their impromptu speech and how to stand on their feet. But in all, congratulations, you are prepared in your presentations, and kudos to our speakers as well as to our evaluator. Now this time, let us move on to our tag team. Let's first start with the grammarian. For the grammarian, our role taker is also Anna. Am I correct? Yeah, Anna.
Thank you, GE. Thank you, GE, PM Armel. So as your grammarian, I was tasked to, of course, I'm looking for my script because this was a quick role. Okay, so as a grammarian, I was tasked to listen carefully to all of your language usage, as well as take note of any improper language and any outstanding words or quotes, sayings, or thoughts. And also, I was tasked to count how many of you was able to incorporate our word of the day, our word for tonight, which is thermodynamics. I do commend everyone who used thermodynamics. That is that easy, because thermodynamics is not a common word that you use in common discussions or casual or otherwise, even in business, right? But here are the people that have successfully incorporated thermodynamics. I commend TMRJ for using thermodynamics once during his speech. It was actually a good introduction. I commend TM Kenley for using thermodynamics, I think at least once or two, as well as TM Mark, one, and also TM Alvin, one during his evaluation. And the winner for tonight's usage of thermodynamics is actually TM Carmina, which she incorporated thermodynamics 3 times during the whole table topics discussion. So thank you so much for that. Onto the language usage. Well, everyone has really provided as a good usage of the language, and although I was not really able to pinpoint any particular quotes or saying that really pop up for me, but I did hear everyone using proper pronunciations as well as enunciations and proper tensing, so that's quite good. However, there are just a couple of items that I want to remind everyone. Number one is the rule of consistency in grammar. The rule of consistency in grammar is that if we are using tenses, if we are using past tense, we must stick to it. If we are using words with ing in 3D and using it as a part of a full sentence, for example, I am walking as well as writing, you should use walking and writing and not shift between walking and then write, because that is not following the rules of consistency in grammar. And another one is, I know we are almost out of time, but using pause is still important, especially if we find ourselves shifting between words that we did not really intend to use. Because I did notice that some of us, for example, wanted to use quotes, but then at the middle of it, they switched to sayings, for example. So during those times, if we are a bit unsure of what's the next word that we want to use, pausing is a good opportunity for us to gather our thoughts. But overall, a well presentation and usage of the English language, especially for us, is not for all of us who are not who's, of course, English is not our first language. Thank you so much, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anna. That was a well-rounded evaluation as our grammarian tonight. I applaud your listening skills because you took note on how many of our members use the word thermodynamics. I agree with you that somehow it is hard to use, but congratulations to those members who use the words for tonight. Next time, you may want to challenge us more to use the word like, fellow Toastmasters, let us use the word of the night 10 times or 15 times tonight so that we can be more challenged in using the word thermodynamics. And I also would like to applaud you for your observation in the correct use of grammar. Thank you so much on that. Now, this time, I would like to call our role taker for the A and Ha counter, Distinguished Toastmaster Mark Edrada.
Thank you, Chair Evaluator Arnel. Fellow Toastmasters, a counter's role is the toughest technical evaluation in a Toastmasters meeting. It is because the counter needs to quickly analyze the context of a word, whether it is a filler or a conjunction of a sentence. For example, the word so. So could be a filler. At the same time, depending on the context, it could mean also therefore. So that's why a counter's role is the toughest technical evaluation in a Toastmasters meeting. In Meycauayan Toastmasters Club, we have this count and motion evaluation in which we count the number of filler words. At the same time, we also count the number of unnecessary movements being done on screen. In this way, we are trained to be conscious on our words and actions whenever in case we are being interviewed on mainstream media or on social media. So that's our training in this kind of session. And in account and motion evaluation, I will be dividing my evaluation into two, the filler words and the motion. For the filler words, since we are dealing with the online and hybrid setup, I heard somebody said, "Can you hear me or am I audible?" So these persons mentioned, can you hear me or am I audible? RG, Toastmasters RG, Carmina, Elios, and yeah. So that's it. RG, Carmina, and Elios. Now, for the other filler words, Toastmaster Kenley had used repeated word once. Toastmaster Vivian, long pause once and one repetitive word. For the evaluation part, Toastmaster Armel had one repetitive word and one Toastmaster Abigail had one long pause. Toastmaster Anna had 3 ums. And Toastmaster Anna also mentioned, I'm looking at my script. So in having these filler words are words that do not add value. So let us try to eliminate those. Meanwhile, for the motion evaluation, Toastmasters Ken, Marie Chris, Sedi, and Abigail, you have to observe proper eye contact. Because we are on a hybrid setting, you also have to check on your camera or look at your camera so that you can connect with somebody on the virtual setting and avoid looking at the ceiling. So if you are on an on-site setting, look at the eyes of your fellow Toastmasters on site. And then I also noticed Toastmaster RJ had this wiggling movement. So he had this side motion while he was delivering a speech. And then Toastmaster said he had this overly movement of hands while delivering a speech. And then I also noticed Toastmaster Alvin, while he was delivering his evaluation for Toastmaster Marquis' speech, that he held a paper. At the same time, he held a phone in the act of reading something in it. And then he held the paper again. So it was caught on camera. So fellow Toastmasters, the goal of account and motion evaluation is for us to be conscious on how we speak and act, whether on-site or online or on-screen in the mainstream media, and not necessarily to count the filler words uttered by the non-Toastmaster speakers. So, fellow Toastmasters, be conscious on our own words, on our own actions, and for the other non-Toastmasters, let's leave them at ease. Do not be conscious and do not police them because they do not know what Toastmasters is doing on a technical side of evaluation. Back to you, Toastmaster Armel.
Thank you, DTM Mark. One of the great points of being a Toastmaster is to avoid using those filler words. I hope you will totally agree with me. We have to avoid using those filler words. Instead of using that, we have to pause for a while or just smile for a while to be able to somehow avoid those filler words. I appreciated your report tonight, DTM Mark, because you have observed not only the filler words used, but also some of the motions or the movements we showed tonight. Thank you so much on that. Now this time to report on the proper use of time, I would like to call Distinguished Toastmaster Ed.
Let me repeat that. Thank you, Armel, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters. It's now time to report on how we used the time this evening. And I am your timer. For our prepared speaker, Marie Chris, 7 minutes 45. RJ, 4 minutes 55 seconds. SEDI, 40, sorry. I think I must have mistyped this. It only says 4 minutes and 7 seconds, but maybe I mistyped this. For the table topics participants, Elios, are you still there, Elios? You spent 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Vivian, 1 minute 59 seconds. Mark, 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And we have Renelita, the speaker.
Yes.
She spoke for 1 minute and 26 seconds. For the evaluation portion, Alvin, our president, spoke 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Dan, 6 minutes and 45. Abby, 3 minutes and 30. Now for our grammarian, Anna. Anna, you spoke for 7 minutes and 27 seconds as the grammarian, as the table topics master. And as the grammarian, you spoke for 4 minutes. Mark, as the accounter, you spoke for 4 minutes and 54 seconds. But Toastmasters, it is now 9:25. As I reckon, we started our meeting at slightly after 7:30 earlier. And we want to be able to manage time and speaking because we want to respect our time and other people's time. Let's make sure that we keep track of the time limits given to us when we deliver our speech. Thank you, and I'd like to give you back to our general evaluator, Art.
So much, Tim Ed, for your report on our time usage for tonight. Some of us gave more than what is supposed to be given to us for the use of time, but then maybe because all of us were so excited to express our thoughts and feelings for tonight, maybe next time we can use our time properly. Thank you so much for my tag team on those reports. Now I would like to evaluate our Toastmaster of the evening, our president, the Maharlika president, Toastmaster Alvin. I would like to applaud you for navigating our meeting tonight with enthusiasm and with excitement. I know that it is hard to have a hybrid meeting, but then we pull it off because we're having a good navigation of our meeting program for tonight. And I also would like to comment on the use of about our team beat the heat. It is so appropriate with how is the weather, with how you're feeling because of the weather tonight. Toastmaster Alvin, you have the confidence, the way you handle the flow of our program was applaudable. Thank you so much on that. And what more can I suggest to you? Like what I've told you before, yeah. You're smiling now. That means you are more confident.
Armel,
Yes.
the Toastmaster of the evening was
See?
Henley.
Ay, sorry, Kenly. Nalito tuloy ako. Yeah, Kenly. I'm so sorry. Sorry on that. Kenly, the past era director, right? Kenly, I would like to applaud you for being our Toastmaster of the evening. You are so prepared, wearing the right suit as a Toastmaster of the evening. You are so poised and confident, and I love it. I love on how you navigated our program tonight. Whenever there is a call to action on how to unmute on your end, you are so prompt in doing so. And also, I like your confidence also on how you smile and show up to us. From my end, you're so confident in the way you look tonight. And also, you are prepared in your role because we have a great program for tonight. Congratulations on that, Toastmaster Kenley. And as your general evaluator for the joint meeting of Maharlika and Meycauayan Toastmasters, it is a privilege and honor for me to be your general evaluator. I know that it is difficult to have the hybrid meeting, but then we are getting on with our good flow of our program. Thank you so much on that. hoping to have more joint meeting between the Maharlika and Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. Now, this time, as I end, the challenge is on how to really beat the heat. As Toastmasters, we are challenged to always look at our best, especially when we are speaking. Though we are feeling the nervousness or the jitters, just brush off. I consider those things as the heat. But then we just have to show up and face the world and give our best to our audience. Now, this time, I would like to return the control to our Toastmaster of the evening, Toastmaster Kenley.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. And I would like to call an extra rule from Maharlika Toastmasters Club tradition. And it's called a Heart Master. Let's welcome the Heart Master for this evening, distinguished Toastmaster, Ed Capon.
Thank you. This will not take too long. We normally want to have this portion so that we review what we took away from the meeting and we observe how much we learned from the meeting. The Heart Master's role is to observe, to check if you listen carefully during the proceedings. And I'm going to test this by asking you a few questions. Therefore, may I ask all the participants online to please turn on your microphones. Turn on your microphones, and then if you know the answer to the question, just speak. So this is a very simple set of, I think, 9 questions. What is the theme of our meeting?
Beat the heat.
The heat.
Beat the heat. All right, good that you know, because when I came here, I was so confused. I thought that the theme of the meeting is in heat. Now, this is the science
Thermodynamics.
that studies.
Thermodynamics.
Okay, good. I think Mark answered that first. What is the specialization that love and report to Kenley? What do? Which involves drinking water. What do you call that? Hydrate. That's RJ. Good job, RJ. Now somebody said this. What do you do when you stop? What do you smell when you stop? You stop and smell what? The flowers. Right. What did Chris remind Alvin of? What did Chris remind Alvin of?
Smile.
No, Marie Chris, the speaker. What did Marie Chris remind Alvin of? Chris reminded Alvin of his thermodynamics professor. I don't even remember my thermodynamics professor. So Alvin must have had a favorite thermodynamics professor. What is it that Carmina missed of Vivian or from Vivian? What is it that Carmina missed from Vivian? Carmina missed Vivian's bubbly
Her
energy.
energy.
No, bubbly. So, who was the area director of the year 21-22? We are very good, Nabi. And finally, what is the secret to a long-lasting relationship according to RJ?
Communication.
What is this? Communication. We have our scholar, valedictorian. I'm going to tell you as my last words. It's not true that open communication is the secret to a lasting relationship. I'm going to give you the secret, the real secret to a lasting relationship, especially for those who are married. The secret to a lasting relationship is honesty. You must avoid it at all costs.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Ed. I hope everyone had fun. And the theme is beating the heat. But although personally, I'd rather beat the heat than beat the cold. Because beating the cold is very expensive. So with that, I return the control now to our club presidents for the closing ceremonies.
Okay. We have time for announcements. Did you have Mark, or should we adjourn the meeting?
We can have a quick announcement.
Okay. For this is related about this call. And can I share my screen? This will be a 5-minute video for this call.
Tayo pa ba?
Siyempre, kasama sa Discord committee.
May quota sila.
May quota.
1% per person po.
Wala ang pizza.
Bota, hindi kita.
Sino walang talbing?
Is there an audio?
On. Gabi, Kenny, tuki ka?
Yeah. Can the audience hear the audio?
We can't hear it.
No.
Welcome to the Royce Hotel, This is where we will have the Toastmasters International District 75 Conference on May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 2026, with the theme, Mekeni Tukika, Malaus sa Pampanga, Mekeni Tukika, Mamasyal sa Pampanga, no ka rin ka pa, tara na, mikit-ikit tamo, Mekeni Tukika.
Thank you, Lydia Mark, for allowing me to announce this gun 2026. This is May 1, May 2, May 3 next year. So May 1 is a holiday, Saturday, Sunday. And the discount ticket right now would cost 6,500 per person. And currently, I'm making a second batch for the 10 plus 1 promo. If you join the 10 plus 1 promo, the discount ticket would only cost 5,909.09. And that is until the end of May. And as part of the discount registration team, I encourage friends or Meycauayan Toastmasters Club members to join next year the discount 2026 at Clark, Pampanga. Over to you, Lydia Mark, if you have any announcements.
Thank you, Vice President for Education, Alvin. Like, to our prepared speech evaluators, you may now complete and send the digital evaluation forms to your assigned speakers. So do this by logging into your Pathways Basecamp. Click on Feedback tab and then select Evaluation Feedback and access the digital evaluation form intended to your assigned speaker. Then complete the information required in the digital evaluation form. And prepared speakers, please mark your speech projects as completed right after this meeting. And for Meycauayan Toastmasters Club, we meet every second and fourth Tuesdays of the month at 7 p.m. We meet online via Zoom. And we have 2 more remaining regular Toastmasters educational meetings left for the current term. Our next educational meeting will be on May 27, 2025 at 7 p.m. The theme will be Rise and Lead, as we will learn and enhance our own leadership style in our family, community, and organization. And on June 10, our theme will be Introduction to Metaverse Technology, as we learn the concept of the Web 3.0 or the future of the Internet. So that's it for Meycauayan Toastmasters Club. I hope we can join again. You can join us again in the succeeding joint meetings in the following term. Back to you, Vice President Alvin.
Thank you, Lydia Mark. And in case you have members who would want to finish their speech project, Maharlika Toastmasters Club meet every week, every Tuesday, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. And thank you for agreeing to have this joint meeting. And with that, it's time for adjournment. Yeah, you're taking.
Yeah. Wait, after that.
After the adjournment.
Oh.
Okay. Yes. As the president of Maharlika Toastmasters Club, Lydia Mark.
Okay. On behalf of our president, for Meycauayan Toastmasters Club, with the task by the Meycauayan Toastmasters Club, I adjourn this meeting.
Yes.
I want to get.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay na ba? Yes.
I will do the screen.
Reverse compression.
Cyclist na nakon. Yeah.
Sa camera.
Who can take the picture? Carmina, can you take the picture?
Carmina, tell us if you're taking a picture or video. And tell us if you're done. Carmina, he's hearing us.
I
have
smile. Carmina.
No, we're not meeting.
Okay, so let's just ask the guys from Meycauayan to take our picture.
Yes, I'm taking the picture. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And good night, everyone.
Good
night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.